Hello guys and welcome to Chelsea Perspective membership section. I am Matt and I am your host for today's video, and this is episode 3 of the Chelsea Stadium debate, and we have finished talking about stadium options, and today we are going to talk about what my preference is. Do I want the Earls Court site? Do I want Stamford Bridge rebuild? Am I going to tell you right now? No, I'm going to wait to the end of the video, keep you guys in for a little bit longer. But we are also going to discuss this big topic of the Chelsea pitch owners, the CPO, the power of the CPO, what they do, why. For some people, how do we get around the CPO? Which is, I don't have the answer for that, but there is a suggestion that is going around of how to change the CPO's mind from within. So let's get into it. So what are the Chelsea pitch owners and how did they become what they are? So the Chelsea pitch owners, they are an organisation, a PLC, effectively a formed company that own and hold the freehold of Stamford Bridge, the stadium, and the name Chelsea FC. So there are approximately 13,000 fans that hold approximately 23,000 shares of the Chelsea pitch. These are from fans in the UK. These are fans worldwide. And this includes some famous and present players who have shares, including Thomas Tuchel, Frank Lampard, Antonio Conte, Jose Mourinho. John Terry is the president of the CPO, while former players, vice presidents such as Pat Nevin, Steve Clarke, Desai, Hasselbank, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, David Webb, Dennis Wise, and of course, the late Ray Wilkins was also a vice president, and I believe is now an honorary vice president in his unfortunate death. So how did the CPO form? Well, this all started in the 1980s, where Chelsea was under threat. They were in a lot of financial trouble, and they were under threat from property developers who wanted to change Stamford Bridge into a housing development, which would mean the club would have to move out, find a new home, or have to share a stadium with another club, because obviously Chelsea were in such a financial trouble at that point, just coming out of real proper financial trouble that Ken Bates took the club over for, and we couldn't afford to go to a new place, and it would strongly damage the club to have to move from Stamford Bridge. Obviously, the club chairman strongly opposed this, and eventually he won the freehold of the ground in the early 90s and pushed away any development problems as a result of that. Now, Ken Bates' idea was to stop this ever happening again and the club being evicted from the ground. He set up the CPO to effectively guard against it. These were set up to sell shares to ordinary fans. The club effectively loaned the CPO money to pay for the freehold, and they are in the process of paying that back over time. Obviously, there is still a lot of money of it to be paid back. I think it's about 8 million as of a source that I saw a few days ago. So the CPO effectively leased the ground for a period of 199 years, and that started in 1997. So the structure effectively of the CPO is that one person has influence. It is done, policies and decisions are done by voting. Obviously, the more shares you have, the more voting power you have. And effectively, it stops Stamford Bridge being turned into housing developments or any other function. And for an owner of the club, Chelsea FC, to do that, they would not be able to keep the name Chelsea Football Club, I believe, as well. They would not be able to keep the badge, mainly because it also has the name of Chelsea Football Club in it. So there is a lot of power within the CPO. The CPO effectively claim a lot of power, and they are able to stop any Chelsea owner, whether it was Roman Abramovich or Todd Boehly and Eghbali, from moving to another stadium or rebuilding Stamford. I think rebuilding Stamford Bridge, I think the Chelsea pitch owners are in an idea that they do need to rebuild Stamford Bridge, so I think there is no problem in that. But they are massively against moving to a new stadium for many different reasons. A lot of it is sentimental, a lot of it is stubbornness, and for that reason, Roman Abramovich wasn't able to get moves away from Stamford Bridge, and so far, according to the CPO, no attempt has been tried by the current ownership at the moment. The idea from within at the moment, the indications is that they will reject any proposal at this current time. So that is the CPO, and that is the power they have. Obviously, people have asked legally, can this be challenged? I do think the American owners at the moment, they will try. Eventually, I think they will find that they can't deal with them in a negotiation way. So I feel like they will try to legally try and find a loophole out of this. But Roman Abramovich could not find a loophole out of this. And Roman Abramovich was someone that when something needed to be done, he'll do it no matter how legal or illegal it was. So if Mr. Abramovich couldn't find a way to do it legally or illegally, then I think the American owners are also going to struggle with that. Obviously, they have been very smart in having in loopholes and in financial rules at the moment. But in terms of this situation, I'm unsure how successful they would be into undermining the CPO effectively. So what can you do to change the CPO? So there is a little campaign that's been going on, I've seen on Twitter, from a lot of fans that have the opinion that they want to move to a new stadium, but obviously don't have their say. And that is the idea of buying shares themselves. And effectively, if enough people of that opinion buy shares, they will hopefully be able to at least sway the opinion enough. There are people on the CPO that are currently pro Stamford Bridge, but if they see a big support going the other way, they're not so strongly tied to it and may change their mind. Now, obviously, I'm not going to tell you guys to go buy shares. What you do with your own money is up to you. At the moment, I've not contributed to this campaign as of yet. I have considered it myself. I think at the moment, financially, me buying shares is it's not in my financial aspect at the moment. But in the future, that may be a decision I make to try and change it from within. I think that is a good campaign to do. Obviously, I'm not asking any of you guys to join that campaign, because it has to be up to your own free will. If any of you do want to, you can check out the CPO site on the website, and they will detail how you can buy a share for that. And then depending on how many shares you can buy, or you will gain voting power for that. Obviously, the shares, you can get signed shares from players, etc. Obviously, they will cost more than the basic share. But if you guys do want to check that out, feel free. Now, to my preference, what do I want? I've wasted 9 minutes of your time effectively, waiting to build up what my opinion is, even adding in coughs just to have tension. And my decision for me, and I've always been this for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I think Chelsea need to take the bold decision to move away from Stamford Bridge. While I love Stamford Bridge, I love going there. It's one of my favourite stadiums that I've ever been to. I know I'm a Chelsea fan, so I'm a little bit biased, but it is one of my favourite stadiums to go to. It has that old style, but it's not outdated at all. It's a great stadium, and it's a great area around Fulham Broadway and around the area. But times have changed, and we do need to move for the better of the club. And I think Earls Court is a great opportunity. It's probably the best opportunity we're going to get. And I think we do need to make that move. Obviously, most of the cons within the Earls Court project are all tied around the CPO, and it's taken a long time. But if we can get the CPO on board with the project, then I think there are not really many cons of the project apart from it's not on Stamford Bridge. For me, I very much understand. I am not massively hostile to people that are sentimental about staying at Stamford Bridge. I'm hostile to the people that will be hostile to me about the moving away. People who have, like some of you, might want to stay at Stamford Bridge. I fully understand and I fully get your points. And I'm not. It's not me trying to change it, or trying to tell you you're a fool for that opinion. You are well entitled to your opinions, and I respect your decisions. I respect your opinion. I think this is a topic where no one's right or wrong necessarily. Everyone can have their own opinion about it, and that's the beauty of this subject. But yeah, my preference is I would like to see us move to Earls Court. build a wonderful, wonderful stadium there. I'd like to build a stadium that is a bit more traditional. I don't want so much of a toilet bowl. I actually really liked the stadium design that Roman Abramovich had, which was dubbed the Cathedral of Football. I think that looked like it was different. Obviously, some people said it looked like a cheese grater, which obviously, of course, everyone's going to find something to compare it to. But I actually thought it was a really bold design, and I think it would have been fantastic to see. And I think an 80,000, 100,000 seater stadium at that size of that design would be absolutely phenomenal. Be one of the best stadiums in the UK. I hope that people can see that one day and that can happen. But we will have to wait and see on this debate. I think, unfortunately, we're not going to see a stadium anytime soon, as much as the ownership would like it to happen soon. I do think we'll see movements on it eventually, but at the moment, there's enough to do on the pitch for them to sort out. So they don't have time to worry about the off-field stuff in terms of the stadium. But that is my opinion. Guys, let me know what your opinions down in the comment section. And thank you for tuning in to this 3-part series. I will be looking to do a lot more wider series with many parts, obviously more related to the football itself. But this was my first kind of opening one that I wanted to try out because I thought it was a great topic to discuss in a bit of detail. So thank you guys for tuning in. Give me any feedback that you guys want. I know I've got a cough throughout this series. It was just bad timing for me, Easter Monday, to get a cough. But there you go. Here's what it is. Thank you all for listening. Obviously, refer your friends, get your memberships up, and then we can see a lot more of these series. Have a wonderful, well, for me, it's a wonderful Easter Monday, but whatever day this comes out, have a wonderful day.